for it to go. Apparently now we are live. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to a Around the Bend for 2016. I've even put my hands up in the air, Sean, even though, you know, my webcam is still looking at my mics on. I know, mate. It's better, isn't it, that way you can't see me. How have you been, mate? Anyway, the season's finally arrived. First round of the Brands Hatch. Thoughts? Wasn't it an amazing event?
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I sat on that sofa for the entirety of ITV4's coverage of it. And boy, at the end of the day, I needed to go to the toilet very bad.
I was just going to say, I'm not joking now, seriously, I needed to just take it in, because one of the best things that happened about this was actually Paul O'Neill was doing the commentary again for Janetta Juniors. That is it. That's all you need. Just a Sunday afternoon, beer in your hand, him doing that. You've never met such an excited Scouser in your life. He's amazing. Absolutely spot on. Steve Ryder...
He's completely the opposite of Steven Gerrard.
Yeah, when Steve, I was just going to say, when Steve Ryder gives up the mantle and passes the baton, honestly, I hope he goes to Paul O'Neill, because that boy is an absolute broadcasting legend. I don't think the rest of the external community to British touring cars have actually. He's our Guy Martin. He really is. He is just completely bonkers, and I love him for it.
Oh, brilliant!
So highlights of the day then. What were the biggest shocks and the biggest things for you then? I know you've got a list of stuff you normally like to go through with this. So
I think we need to talk about Tom Ingram.
Yeah, Tingram. I'm not joking now. Straight out the box, light to flag victory. I thought it was a little silly with Collard in the other race. I think a little bit of that immaturity. It reminded me going back about 5 or 6 seasons when Andy Jordan was really fighty, if you get what I mean. Andy Jordan now lets races come to him a bit more. Whereas, I'm not saying he's not aggressive, but like Tom Ingram's still got that little bit of he wants to take the fight to him and prove that he's a touring car driver, and he actually is a very good touring car driver. If he actually had backed off and let Collard pass, I really feel that, you know, the race would have come to him later on in the race once Collard had gone. It was perhaps better for his entire championship campaign to hang back, defend second, and take the points, you know.
What, are you suggesting that you blame Ingram for that incident?
No, what I'm saying to you is he was tapped, and that was fair enough. I'm not saying Ingram was at fault. I'm saying Ingram, knowing what with the weight and everything in the car, he should have just let Collard go and hung on to second place. If that was somebody like Gordon Shedden would have just pulled into second place and waited for something to happen or taken the points. And it's just that little bit of he hasn't been running at the front long enough yet to build that in for a championship. I suppose what I'm trying to say is, right now, Tom Ingram's after the race wins. And if 2 or 3 seasons' time, Tom Ingram will be going into every race thinking about the championship. And that's the difference at the moment.
About taking away the incident that happened in race 2, I mean, you've got to take for account he got his first ever win in the first round of the championship.
And I'm not joking now. It was an absolutely amazing drive, and the team ought to be dead proud. And he is one of the superstars of the future. So
he was definitely on it on Saturday. I mean, when they did the free practice sessions, the 2 of them, he finished fastest and third. And when he did qualifying, he was on pole position, and that was it. He was on a mission on Saturday. Was Tingram.
Do you actually believe that car is a championship contender for the season, or is it really just dialed into Brands Hatch as well as in vehicles? It's always gone well there, is Ingram.
I don't think it's a championship winning car. I think that's going to go to the Hondas, no question. But I think he will be up there, definitely.
Yeah, so you know, I think we're not, by the way, belittling anything that Tom Ingram did. We're massive fans of all the drivers on the grid, but just getting back to that race 2 incident, I just think in a couple of seasons' time, you'll see the champion Tom Ingram go there. I think he's about 18 months to a season to 2 seasons away from being in the hunt at the last race of the season. You know, he's certainly a long-term career British touring car driver now. If that team, you know, he's shown the loyalty, and I really love what he did about staying with the team.
Yeah,
I'm sure he could have gone to a bigger team.
Yeah, I think there was definite options for him to go to other teams. Like, no disrespect to the team that he's with now, more maybe financially more better, stable teams, but he just stayed with the team that he's with now, and I think that just shows the character of what Tom Ingram is.
Yeah. The other one that went really well, which was kind of nice to see, was Aaron Smith, actually. The deal come together really, really late. And yet, you know, the qualification and also the podium as well just shows that car, you know, it was Turkin's car from last season that he was driving, but it still shows that in the right hands, it's still a potent weapon, even though it perhaps hasn't had as much development over the winter as the other cars on the grid.
Yeah, definitely.
As in financially, because the deal come together so late, you know.
Yeah, but you know, and I know that Aaron Smith always runs well at Brands Hatch. And to be honest, after what happened last year with the whole ignoring team orders things, and then he went away from the BMR team.
What team orders?
Yeah, definitely.
He had a radio fault. And his radio fault consisted of he took the radio out of his helmet before that race, I think.
Yeah, you could see that. Yeah, definitely.
There was a lot.
We'll leave it like that.
There was a lot of. I was just going to say there was a lot of radio interference off that radio as well, because it actually took Andy Jordan's indicator out at the same time.
Oh, don't cross that bridge again. You got the fans angry about that.
Yeah.
But no, yeah,
Sorry,
I mean, Aaron was just, you know, I think it was just a blessing in disguise that he's not racing with the BMR team.
I think, you know, and again, the other thing that I thought was really interesting, and you know, credit where credit is due, Warren Scott actually helped once that second tier championship fell through for a season. You know, Warren's actually managed to not only get that car and that deal together, he also has handed them Alan Menu Alan Menu's gone as a driver coach, leased out to the MG team as well, I think. Or is it the BKR team? He's actually hired out Alan Menu as a driver coach for the people. It just makes it there's something happening with that independent trophy. I think all those guys are fighting it out to see who gets you know, perhaps a future BMR drive.
Possibly. I never know. I didn't know about the Alan Menu thing, but all I just know was that BMR and BKR in a bit of an alliance, obviously with them putting 6 cars out for the BTEC series. And also I noticed what I heard from what Paul O'Neill was saying was the MG team, the BMR team actually helped out the 888 team with the car too.
Yeah, well, they sort of glossed over it a bit in the coverage. But if you go back through and have a look, you were basically saying that Alan Menu was seen going in both garages and giving drivers advice, which kind of makes me think that whoever gets that, perhaps I'm preempting stuff here, but, you know, could it be that now we've seen, you know, drivers like Simon Belcher take a back seat and go into team management more? Perhaps Warren Scott, you know, can look at one eye over his shoulder and thinking, "I'll actually, you know, running the team for 12 months and then seeing whoever wins the independent trophy and giving them a drive again, you know, letting those things calm down for 12 months, especially to get all the manufacturers in." I think the Subaru thing could be the start of Super Touring coming back as well. It seems that Subaru have committed for like 3-4 years, and, you know, the car looks good. It's a larger car than what I expected, and I think it would have had more media buzz if they'd used the WRX, but, you know, that was their decision, and Subaru's done that, and it was nice to see Plato bring some of the old sponsors back to BMR as well. You know, the Silverline Tool stuff and whatever. It was really interesting to get that on.
It looked more like the old Volvo 850 Estate from '94 with the paint scheme.
Yeah, you know, and again, perhaps it's just me, but they don't seem to be. I mean, they were half a second off the pace, and considering that team, I only put them cars together in less than 50 days. I mean, 4 cars in less than 50 days. They've got to be commended. They've got some serious engineering capability. I mean, all the grid has, but I mean, to get 4 cars out like that, Subaru aren't playing at this, and I don't think it's going to be that long before they're running at the front. And then you're going to start see my big concern is that if they get, shall we say, a little tap happy, there's only really the Honda that can keep replacing parts alongside it, and it's a push, I'd say 888. If somebody has like a larger accident, perhaps the parts aren't available again. I mean, we saw issues for Matt Jackson and Andrew Jordan as well, by them taking each other out. Accidentally. Apparently there was a bit of a discussion, shall we say, in the pits afterwards about who was at fault. But the rule number 1 of racing is never take out your teammate, and it just seemed a little along the lines of, if they start banging door handles amongst themselves again, and we had Collard and Sam Tordoff do exactly the same thing, it might be that because they're doing new suspension setups and there's new parts on the car, and Tucker have put new things in, there's new engine parts, perhaps the spares aren't going to be available till the second half of the season. So some of these mid teams perhaps are conscious of damaging cars till they're like 9-10 rounds in,
Well, you saw from what happened with Turkington in the first race, his car was battered at the front. It was. I mean, I can't remember what exactly happened, but there was quite a bit of substantial damage done to that Subaru. And I heard from what the commentators were saying that they didn't have a lot of parts for that. So
no, not at all. And again, that a lot of that car has actually been developed not by ProDrive or anywhere else. It's actually been developed from Subaru UK. There's a lot of parts on that car that have come from the main factory, and you're shipping things halfway around the world. They're actually using that as a test bed for the road car. To actually do the old adage of, watch a race on Sunday, sell on Monday. Subaru, that's what they're there for. They're there to sell road cars, and it could be a real interesting time for Subaru. I don't think they're going to win the title this year, though.
No, I don't think so as well.
There or thereabouts, places there, but looking as they are, and I know it's only 3 races in, and there'll be loads more action and whatever. But it just got the gut feeling on Sunday that Matt Neal was definitely playing rear gun of Shedden, and his job is to let Shedden go and run and hide, and then just bring that car back for seconds and thirds and everything else. To sort of chase that back-to-back championships again. Nobody's won the championship back-to-back for years and years and years, and Shedden's really got he said on a piece to camera that, I think was it Rickard Rydell who said the last one was? I'm not sure. Somebody with the stats will correct me, I'm sure. But basically, he was saying it's been done for years and years and years.
Well, mine Giovanardi did it. I think that's the most recent one, and then the one before that was Matt Neal himself.
Yeah, no, you most probably said you're right, Giovanardi, actually. Like I say, I mean, I forget the driver that he mentioned, but it was one of those situations where I just think that the Toyota team or somebody else like that could come in and start doing the super touring thing. I keep seeing hints that all the manufacturers are coming in, and Toyota's been sort of rumored strongly, so is Kia, but I don't know which team that they would end up going with if it was a works team. Would BKR be tempted to step up and do that? Could we see a separate thing with that, or as the Subarus rerun, in a couple of seasons' time, when then Lavora's a sort of a bit old hat, will they get sort of downgraded into BKR, and then perhaps they'll change manufacturer or somebody else come in? The Simon Belcher's team, they are talking about doing a manufacturer link up in the next 2 years. That's their big goal. So perhaps this Toyota rumor and Kia rumor that's doing the rounds on the fan forums is down to that. You know, it's just like I say, all speculation. But you know, it'd be great to see Super Touring back.
I mean, I think you've got like what 11 manufacturers in the championship, and I mean that's a lot. That is a lot of manufacturers in the championship. I mean, it'd be great to have more.
They're not manufacturer teams though, are they? They are like rebadged NGTC cars.
Yeah, most
I'm talking about the days. I'm talking about Subaru are going to start turning up. I feel in the next few years with, you know, how it was with the Seat Championship. You know, when Plato was driving for Seat, where it was all Seat mechanics, everything else. You know, and I can see some people being tempted back. You know, it could be running. I mean, Vauxhall have got a massive link up with 888, so could we see that coming back? RMGM for the long haul. They've got a new range of cars coming out sort of next 2-3 years, a whole new model range of family saloon cars apparently. And if that's true, I mean, you know, that would be a great vehicle, pardon the pun, to you know, do UK car sales.
It'd be great to see Volvo back in the BTCC.
Oh,
there was certain talks about that, but obviously it must have not come through.
Yeah, it was really weird at the start. If you remember the end of last season, there was news stories doing the rounds that Volvo were pulling out all their money and going into the round the world yacht race. And then they did the WTCC car. And apparently that is with a few little changes is eligible for British touring cars. But they didn't want to come back with that unless they got a works team. They didn't want an independent team running them, which just seems a little silly, really, considering there's to be quite a good package.
Yeah, I mean, I love the Volvo when they went in the British touring cars, especially with the engine sound. That sounded so amazing back then.
I've got to admit though, the new Subaru, it did sound fantastic. It really did sound fantastic. I love the sound of that car. It's a different noise, a different tone. And they need to be applauded for that. I think Plato is playing the long game. I think he knows the championships isn't really up for grabs. It's about showing return on investment for Subaru, and really going forward next year. This year is a development round. They won't have that car running right till like round 15, round 16.
I'd say the second half of the season.
What it was. Yeah. They're making huge steps for development, you know. But again, let's have a look around back of the grid then from there. You know, it was nice to see Dan Welsh going well. Whatever he's done in the winters really work, and fantastic news for him as well, because that boy has had some rotten luck with British touring cars, and it's a shame because he's such a nice guy and a really good driver.
It's all because it's down to it's a Swindon-based engine. It's a Toka engine in the car now. It's not the actual Proton engine itself.
Yeah, it's just, you know, there was a lot of people seem to be very, very happy that he was running really well. Actually, running and doing full races was just magical to see, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
it was good. How did you feel? How did you feel Rob Austin went?
I thought to me he was quite disappointing.
In what way?
Because, I mean, when he did the testing in Portugal, he was very quick. When he was there on media day, he was third fastest, and I thought, you know, he could probably upset a few of the big guns in the opening rounds, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen. He qualified 15th in the first race and retired, and then that was it. That was his weekend ruined.
Yeah, do you feel that how long did you think the team are going to hide behind the rear-wheel drive, front-wheel drive thing? Because, I mean, you know, anybody on that grid, I know there's a massive change in driving rear-wheel drive to front-wheel drive, especially with Rob Austin, you know, as talented as he is in rear-wheel drive cars. But, you know, if that was the case, surely he would have gone worse in testing. That's all I'm saying, really. I just, you know, for me as a fan, I want to see Rob Austin go really, really well. But it's like, either the other teams were sandbagging or something happened in race pace, you know, or perhaps there was, I don't know, something up with the car or whatever. What did he retire with? Do we know? Was that accident damage or was that just engine management stuff?
I'm not too sure about that, to be honest with you. But it just said he I mean, I don't think the commentators even picked
Retired.
up on Rob Austin's retirement.
No, not at all. So the BMW seemed to go well. There was a couple of really good moments for those guys this weekend that should give them a bit of hope. And yeah, again, Sam Tordoff, you know, I don't know what it is with that, but him going forward, I really thought that he would really be pushing Collard for lead role in that team. And he's getting there, don't get me wrong, but he just, I don't know. It just seems to be like there's going to be, I think if there's going to be fallouts, battles and arguments on that grid this year, you're not going to be too far away from a BMW when it happens. Rob Collard looks really, really fighty this year. Like he's his elbows out, door handles out, doors open, you know, and he's not really that bothered about how he wins. He just wants to win. He wants to assert the fact that he's the number one driver in that team. And you know, perhaps there might be elements of team orders coming into that. I think Sam Tordoff's got to step up and put some big points on the board in the first sort of 9 or 10 rounds in order to get some support from that. Failing that, he's going to be a number 2 driver again for the second season. And it's a shame because he's a real championship contender.
Rob Collard, I lost all respect for Rob Collard at Brands.
Why?
Well, I mean, you saw what happened in the first race when you know, Tordoff did put quite a bit of a block on Collard, but you know, Collard, there's a brake pedal inside your BMW, is it not? You could have just used that instead of just hitting your teammate off. And with the thing as well with Ingram, I thought it was Collard's fault.
I think with Ingram it was 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I think Collard understeered into him, and then he tapped him back and sort of leaned on him a little, and then Rob sort of leaned on him a bit more. Then Ingram leaned on him a bit more, and then it was who was going to lean on each other more. And by which time, you know, Shedden finished laughing and crying in his helmet and drove past the pair of them. You know, and it was just. It was, you know, and I think that's the difference you're seeing in Gordon Shedden now. 2 seasons ago, Shedden and Matt Neal would have gone up the inside of them whilst that was happening and got involved. And instead of being a 2-car accident, it would have been a 4-car accident. You know, and I don't think the Honda was there as much to actually, you know, the only opportunity they would have had was that split second where it was all going on. And I think now that the Honda's such a tidier package this sort of last 2 seasons, I think they can afford to hang back and just let things happen a bit. You know, I don't think they've really wound up that potential of that car.
Yeah,
you know, it was. I saw a real interesting clip actually. If you watch back on the ITV4 footage, just before race 1, they're talking to each other in the pits. And, you know, Shedden's basically like they're having a team chat and they sort of went in formation from there. And you're like, you know, there's
they're playing the team game.
Very, very, yeah. They don't race each other. I don't, you know, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I think like the first part of the season, they do their racing and qualifying. And if Matt Neal qualifies ahead of Shedden at that point, they could have done that. I mean, if they'd have been further up the road in the other races, I seriously think they would have done the team game and rotated the points round, and so Matt Neal could have got the extra point and all that bit. And they're not doing that this time round, you know. What about some of the other drivers that caught your eye? Ash Sutton caught my eye really in that MG. He was
just impressive. He is fastly becoming to be a favourite in the BTCC, definitely. He's going to be a winner sometime very soon.
He actually sat on the grid and Louise actually interviewed him. And he just basically looked down the barrel of the camera and is just like, yeah, I'm just going to put my foot down, keep my foot. And he's like, well, have you got any tactics? Just like drive quick. That's it. Just drive quick. And, you know, I'm not here to make the numbers up. And he was very much like, you know, if they're in my way, well, tough. You know, it's like...
He showed his pace on media day as well, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, you know, they're very, very impressive. There was him and Matt Jackson who were having it through the bottom of Craner curves completely sideways. I mean, absolutely sideways. And going up to McLean's at Donington as well. Andy Jordan, I don't think he was posting times really. I think he was just having a laugh and driving it like a rallycross car, because I've never seen a Honda Civic go so many different directions. Sorry, I have the Ford Focus. I'm that used to seeing that delivery. I'm that used to seeing a Purtec logo. It's been a long season. The Ford Focus, I've never seen. I'm not joking now. It was literally a flash of a Purtec logo and then lock stop as he went sideways around every corner. It was really, really interesting. Media day though, Ash Sutton, bottom of Craner curves, he was kicking up the dust every time he went round. He was using every millimetre of the track. When that round goes to Donington next time round, he's going to be one to watch, because he did not. It didn't seem to lift at all the way through the most technical part of that circuit. And it just seems to be, the car just seems to fly there. It just really does. So yeah, I think if he's going to win one, it's going to be next round. It's going to be Donington Park.
Oh, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm going for reverse red. Sorry. Reverse grid race. Sorry, drinking tea. Reverse grid race. And can't do an hour's show, mate, without a brew. So I honestly, I believe that he really will. Step up and do it. I'm quite impressed. I'm quite impressed. What else is on your list then, Sean? Come on, let's crack on.
I think we also need to talk about Adam Morgan winning the final race of the opening weekend of touring cars.
I like seeing Adam go well.
Yeah, he was the only one that never retired last year, and I am starting to think that he's going to be one of the most consistent driver again for this year.
Yeah, and he's though looking forward, going to teams in the future. He's a very safe pair of hands. The car's going to come back.
And over the years, how much he is so matured as a driver. If you think back to his rookie year, he was retiring all over the place, making stupid mistakes every track and all. But he has just gone better and better and better. And I think even with driving in the Mercedes car, he's definitely improved so much. He's third in the points.
Yeah, which is great. It's amazing.
Fantastic.
So the other one that was, I was just going to say, the other one that was interesting as a driver selection over there, which I got to admit I didn't see coming. And I have to be careful what I say, because I'm slightly biased, and I'll tell you for why. When we started doing this and getting access and getting stuff, we haven't got media passes. We're just two fans who do this for a bit of a giggle. Me and Sean normally get on a Skype call after a race meeting. We're at opposite ends of the country, and we just chat about it. And we kind of make each other laugh every time we do this sort of thing. So it's like, right, well, if that's the case, we'll record it and put it up. That's how Around the Bend started. And we've been lucky enough over the last couple of seasons to sort of get access to places that we shouldn't have got access to. Media Day, I've got to say a massive thank you to Laser Tools for actually.
Yes!
We should not have been in the press area at all. And God bless them. They turned around and said, right, well, actually, we'll do you a swap. We've got one media pass. If it is that you want to come in, can you just do as a piece to camera? So I did, and used it to put the podcast, which is available on YouTube, I'm sure. And we basically, they really got into that. But last season, when we were struggling for access, one certain Calvin Fletcher blagged us in, which was nice of him. He didn't have to do that when he was doing the Porsche Carrera Cup stuff. He was still around the paddock doing that, and he turned up for the day and he got a spare ticket and let us in, which was really, really good of him. So Calvin ended up in a gravel trap, which was a little bit unfortunate. I think a bit of not beginner's error, because he's been around there in all sorts of cars. But again, you know, I didn't see that signing coming. I thought he was going to go into British Touring Cars, but I honestly thought he was going to end up as a Porsche Carrera Cup driver because he went really well in that, actually.
I never expected that at all. I mean, we know we were still waiting for a second driver to help Hunter Abbott. I honestly thought it was going to be like maybe Ash Hand. I thought it could have been him, but it was just totally unexpected to see an actor / racing driver being the teammate to Hunter Abbott. I did not see that coming one bit.
We've got to admit that we are both motor racing nuts in all ways, shapes, and forms. But club racing going through the last three or four seasons, I've seen Calvin drive Mighty Minis. He went to Storm in the Mighty Minis. He did Super Mighty Minis. His younger brother drives in the Mighty Minis now this time round, I'm sure. And you know, we've seen him like doing all different sorts of testing. You got to remember about Calvin as well. A lot of everybody still talks about him as an actor and whatever. Don't forget as well, he's a full-time student, and he's actually studied. Yeah, he's actually. If you look at every single car he's driven, he's actually sponsored by the University of Bolton, and they actually run their motorsport degree. And he's actually a member of the driving team for that motorsport degree. That's why he's got the University of Bolton written on every single.
Oh wow!
Some of the mechanical data and all that bit comes back from there. He's actually studying to be a full-blown race engineer for a BTCC team. So you know,
nice.
Again, the acting's paid for a lot of stuff, but you know, people who are saying that he's there like because he's an actor and he's on ITV and the touring cars are on ITV, they couldn't be further from the truth. He's a complete petrol head. In fact, if you actually speak to him at a race paddock, if you talk to him about Emmerdale, he will ignore you. There's no two ways about it. He will.
Because his mind's set on the races.
He will talk to you about the car all day long. He's the sort of guy who's very, very, very approachable and very knowledgeable. He knows about the history of racing. And I don't know whether he's into it to like go and win the championship or whether, you know, I'm sure he wants to win the championship, but, you know, I didn't see it coming. Like you say, once they announced Hunter Abbott, you expected somebody like, you know, I mean, before they announced Rob Austin, I thought if Rob Austin was going to give his team up, that's where he was going to go, to be perfectly honest with you. But yeah, you know, more power to it. The Chevrolet's still a reasonable package. We know it's a race-winning car in the right hands. A couple of seasons ago, albeit, but it's no slouch. You know, it's no. How can I put it? It's not going to be constantly propping up the back of the grid. I think it's a learning year for Calvin. Be interesting to see how he goes with the door-to-door stuff when he's not, you know, half a second down or whatever, and he's actually racing full position, door to door. You know, I don't think the qualifying went that well for him. Watch out for him. He was dead last. I'm not joking. Wait till we get to the Alton Park round. That boy can drive Alton Park with his eyes shut. I mean, he won't be at the back of the grid for that.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, he was only 2.5 seconds off the pole position time, and that's 32nd place. I mean, if you have that gap in Formula One, that's probably the gap between first to fourth.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with it is this year is I can't believe how close all the cars are out of the box, considering they've all had new suspension setups, you know, new engines,
RML parts,
the whole different, RML parts, everything all coming into it. You know, I expected the grid to be spread time-wise in qualifying a load more than it actually was, to be perfectly honest.
You know, 22 drivers were separated by a second.
Wow. Okay, that's going to be interesting.
That's very, it is, isn't it? It's amazing. 22 drivers.
Absolutely crazy. There is another one that I wanted to ask you there, Sean, about that. Is on the actual races there, do you reckon you've seen enough in each of those cars yet to make a prediction for the championship?
Do you know what? I've still got to go for the Honda. I think it's going to be a Honda driver. I think it's going to be Shedden.
You're making a prediction of Shedden for that?
I'm going to predict it's Shedden.
I'm going to put my neck on the line here. And I'm going to go. See, I'm torn. I really am torn because I think it's going to be Forgier. I think it's going to be Ford year, and I can't make my mind up which one. I think if Ford don't win it, it'll be if only we hadn't rammed each other off the track. Yeah. You know, do you remember a few years ago at Alton, where Matt Neal and Gordon Shedden ended up in a gravel trap, and Matt Neal had his head in his hands?
Yeah, I remember that very well.
Ford are either going to win the championship or have 10 races with those expressions on one of the drivers' faces.
Well, that was like the early years of Andy Jordan. He was very passionate. Like, I remember, I think it was in 2007, 2008, I got the DVD of the season, and he was running in a podium finish in a Honda Integra with his dad racing at the same time, and he had to retire from the race. And you had the onboard camera of Andy, and he was so upset, and he was so passionate that he was really disappointed.
And I'm glad they've managed to keep. I was just going to say, I'm glad they managed to keep Andy Jordan in the championship, because I really believed last year that he was going to leave and go to Global Rallycross, because, I mean, with the Red Bull athlete thing, you know, and the wages are actually
I don't think he would have left
way in excess of what you get for that. Don't know, you know, money does strange things. If you can set your family up for life by the sponsorship you'd get, and somebody starts offering you multi-million pounds to go travel the world and be involved in Global Rallycross, you know, it's got to turn the edge. You've at least got to have a conversation. I'm sure he had a conversation with Global Rallycross in the close season.
Can we also? I'm
glad he's back.
Oh, I'm glad he's back. I never thought he was going to go, to be honest. I thought he was going to stay. He's going to stay around in the British Touring Cars for a long time.
Good. Next one then.
Next one. Oh yeah. Going back to race one, did you see the Marshal nearly getting killed?
Yes, I did.
I was like, oh my goodness, what's he doing?
What I did like though is I know I'm gonna cause a problem now. You ready for this? I've just thought of something. I saw him try to kick the bumper and miss, which means Hartlepool must have signed him for you.
That's the end of the conversation. Thank you. Goodbye.
Mate, I tell you something now, right? You need a striker, and that Marshall could be one of the best you've ever had.
I'm better than him. I could have kicked him further than him. I mean, it's a pretty big object, and he missed it. He scuffed it. What's that all about?
It's crazy. I'll tell you something though, in all seriousness and joking about Hartlepool aside, because I don't really follow football. I just like winding Sean up before I get my inbox bombarded by the entire town of Hartlepool.
I'll tell them.
You will. I know. I was just going to say, what really got me about that was actually how dangerous it was for the Marshal to be put in that position. Sometimes marshals react, and I'm sure he got a radio call to do it, but it just didn't seem to go in sequence. He was actually on a live racetrack at that point. That could have been very, very nasty, especially if somebody had gone off on the grass, because he wouldn't have been able to slow down. They'd just been a passenger, It's not good, really. And I've got to admit, going off touring cars just for a quick second, one thing that's winding me up about motorsport in general, right now.
Is this a bit off your plate moment for you?
Oh, mate, this is getting it off my Plato, properly off my Plato.
Here we go. Get the popcorn.
Fernando. Oh, here we go. I'm going in.
Where's my juice? Where is it?
Oh, mate, seriously now, right? I mean, I'm proper angry. Are you ready for this?
Go on, then.
Why, in any form of motor racing, after what happened to Jules Bonacci, right?
Bianchi.
Fernando Alonso, it happened to the other week. Yeah, Bianchi, right? Fernando Alonso had an accident the other week. We all saw, I'm sure, because it was spectacular, and thank God he was okay, right? But also it happened in the Brands Hatch race, where they and somebody beached up, and then they got a JCB with a crane on it, to come on the track while the track was still live to remove the car. Now, surely the whole point of having a crane, and I'm going back, Calvin Burt had a massive accident, I forget where it was, in a Porsche years ago.
Thruxton.
And Thruxton, that'll be the puppy. And they used to park the JCB or other diggers are available behind the catchment fence and then put a crane over the top of the fence to lift the car up in the air and out of the way. There's been a load of accidents, and it's not just like, British touring cars, it's Formula One, where in the middle of a race, they've still got a live racetrack, and yet they're putting a JCB on and dragging it out of the way through gravel traps, which is then filling the car full of gravel, which then gives the mechanics and teams shed loads of work to do before the next race. Why not just lift the car? I mean, sure, they've still got to do the work because it's already gone through the gravel trap to get there. But, why put the drivers in danger and the marshals in danger by having these things on the track? When if you've got a crane and you've got an access road to get the crane to the gravel trap, surely the point of a crane is to go over things. Why not go over the catchment fence? Rant done. I'm just putting it out there.
You normally see the cranes when it's like the Monaco Grand Prix, because obviously there's not a lot of runoff area though, isn't there? So,
yeah.
It's.
I remember a minute. I used to drive with a guy who ran in the Mini Challenge. Okay, years ago, and he was at Brands, and he come through Paddock Hill Bend, and he hit the curb and managed to clear, albeit by about a quarter of an inch, the gravel trap. And the gravel trap didn't slow the car down because he wasn't in the gravel trap. He was flying over the gravel trap. And he managed to go down the side of the barrier and hit the fire truck that was coming on for another incident. Right? By completely accident, and the red flags have been, the yellow flags have been waved. The cars, the emergency services were responding. He went barreling in there, not seeing the flags, he says, and he had this accident and hit it. And I mean, he was in a Mini, right, a modern Mini Cooper, so not like an old Mini with old roll, old safety standards of roll cages and stuff. I mean, a full modern cage. And the first injury he had was a bruised heart, right? Let's put that in perspective. Those cars are going 45 and 50 mile an hour less through Paddock Hill Bend than the touring cars were going. And he managed to hit something on the other side and get an injury that severe. It's like to have a crane in the middle of a gravel trap, to me, considering Alan Gow's, so high up in the MSA anyway, it just seems ludicrous that it's not, it's not safer for the marshals. That's basically it. That's my big rant. If they're going to come out and drag them out, that's fair enough. But I mean, the marshals are all volunteers, don't forget. And it just seems to be that guy shouldn't have been in that position. Now, whether he didn't, he just decided he was going to go for it and hadn't got the call and then got told off by the head marshal and whatever afterwards. I don't know. But it just seemed to be it was like he was sent, and then it was a really dangerous moment. It was really scary. I didn't know what other people's thoughts are.
And it was quite early on in the race. I mean, it was like in the first 5 laps. That was when Alex Martin reacted to one of the Power Max cars. I think it was Kelvin Fletcher that spun. And Alex Martin reacted to that spin and went hit hard. And, well, that's where the debris came from. But then, I just didn't know how it took. Like, why didn't the marshal go when the last car went by, instead of maybe waiting like 10, maybe 15 seconds, and then retract the debris to keep it on the green flag? Because when the marshal came out, when it was shown on TV, the safety car had to be deployed because of the marshal coming out on track very dangerously.
Yeah, and it's one of those really. I was just going to say something else, actually. Tonight is one of the Motorsport Maverick shows on at 11 o'clock tonight, I think,
10,
as well, on ITV4. So we're recording this on
10 o'clock.
it's on 10, is it?
Yes.
Oh, right, okay. I was just going to say, and I've seen clips of that, and there's a lot of British touring car stars in that this time around, so that's going to be great. Anything else on your agenda, Sean, before we sort of preview the next round and perhaps touch on any of the support races? Anybody that went really well? I was going to say we need to give a shout out to Max Coates because I think he won both in his category class. I think he did. Yeah, he did. He won the independence bit for him, for the Clios, I think. So yeah, it was really good drive.
What also won as well. I was impressed to see about Charlie Fagg because unfortunately he retired in the first Ginetta Junior race, but then he drove an absolutely amazing race to finish 9th, and he was like the second fastest guy in the whole field. Even later on in the race, he was still 3 tenths faster than the guys that were battling for the race lead. I mean,
I feel in a few weeks' time we may have to do, once this championship gets really going, I think the ones that finish first, any one of the first 5 in Ginetta Juniors could win the championship from that first race. It was just amazing to watch. I mean, seriously, the Ginetta Juniors race, you can't really not be impressed by the actual racing in that championship. It's just, considering the kids have come out of cars, it's just phenomenal. And perhaps I got told off.
I've seen the clean driving as well.
It's been a while since I've been 17, so yeah, you know what I mean.
Aye, that's about 40 odd years.
Yeah. Not
that's
quite
payback
that,
from Hartlepool, there. That's payback for Hartlepool.
Oh, right, okay, cheers, mate. Yeah, I think it's about 25 years, though, in all seriousness.
25 plus what?
No, just 25. just 25.
I can definitely smell No, I better not swear. Okay. No, but I mean, it was some incredibly clean race, and I think maybe Rob Collard would look at that and say, "Oh, maybe I could do that."
Yeah.
Shots fired. Rob Collins hating me now.
And he's just gone Twitter and unfollow.
Sorry, I don't have a Twitter.
No. To be honest with you, this is something we need to do. We did this before as a sort of YouTube podcast, and we put it around a few people and whatever. We're trying to put it onto the SoundCloud page and actually start circulating this round as a bit of a podcast. Got a few technical issues as regards getting jingle playback and all that sort of stuff. We're building studios, but evidently with us both not being in the same town and opposite ends of the country, we use Google Hangouts for that. So if you've got any Google Hangout experts on there who want to get in contact with us, is it still aroundthebend@gmail.com we've got now? I'm sure it is. I'm sure we've got aroundthebend@gmail.com. We'll double check that and put that in the show notes. But yes, by all means, get in contact with us if you've enjoyed it. We're going to try and get this onto iTunes and everything else. We're really just playing with the format and just giving it as a test, as an idea. We did it for ourselves mainly last season to get up to speed with the podcasting kind of thing. So we're enjoying it. We're not trying to compete with like 10 Top Tuesday or any of the big major established ones. We're just like, a couple of fans doing that, and it'd be great to get more of you involved. If you like listening, get in touch. Let's get you on this call, and let's make this a real fans' voice, man. That's what we're all about. So, anything else on your list then, Sean, before we wrap up, mate? Because I'm conscious of time.
I think I need to do my version of "Get It Off Your Plate." So,
right, okay. I'm sitting down. I've got my popcorn.
Well, I've already explained. Well, I had 2. One of them was I was talking about Rob Collard. Like,
cool. Oh, I did. Oh, yeah, there you go.
I was saying that, if Dick Bennett can actually just say to Rob, look, just calm down your antics and driving behind the wheel, maybe change your driving style and all that and whatever. But that was one of the main ones. The second one was in the Ginetta Super Cup series. Now, I do not know why this is happening, but you know about Colin White. He's a vastly experienced driver, and he's a multiple hot rod world champion and all that. He's raced in that Ginetta series for such a long time. I think he's one of the most long-serving ones, as well as Carl Breeze. But why is he in the amateur category?
Yeah. Yeah, perhaps because he's running the car and the team himself, and he is an amateur. He's what the old style garagista. Built the car
I
himself.
thought it was just for amateur drivers that's just making their
No,
debut in the league.
It will be that if he's got amateur status, it will be that he builds every nut and bolt on that car, most probably. I've got to admit,
Mind you, coming to think that Ben Green's, I think, is in a pro car, and this is his first season in the championship.
I don't know. Perhaps it's just down to the weight, the suspension they run, or the fueling, or anything like that. It could be down to air restrictors as well. A lot of cars run on different air restrictors, which puts them in different categories.
Oh, I thought of another one.
Go on.
I thought of another one. What on earth was Dan Camish doing in the first race?
Again, Dan Camish, right? I expected Dan Camish not to be in that championship. I thought he'd go to the Porsche Super Cup, as in, the Porsche races that support the Formula One.
Yeah, or maybe go in endurance racing or that. But I mean, it's obviously good to have him in the series again. But why did he get himself penalised in the first race when he was leading the race? Why was he exceeding track limits?
Because he's got it in his head that the last 2 seasons he's won every round bar one, hasn't he? For everything.
My prediction, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, Formula Ford, he completely smashed that. Last year,
every round.
Yeah, won every round, and then last year he won every one bar one, didn't he?
Really?
But you don't know. To start the season, it's that new season craziness. People want to get the race rustiness out of them that they've developed over the winter. These guys haven't sat in a car competitively for the best part of 3-4 months. It's nearly 6 months. Sorry, isn't it? Now it's about 5 and a bit months.
In the October, wasn't it? October.
Yeah. I mean, this year, what's got me about it this time round more than anything else is I've got to admit, I watch touring cars in a very weird way. As in, I will definitely watch all 3 races for the BTCC. That goes without saying. I will definitely watch the Ginetta Juniors race. I will definitely watch the first 2 or 3 laps of the Clios intently to see if there's any major accidents. And after that,
Did you see what happened with Bushell and Paul Rivette?
Yeah, I'll tell you something now.
That's not like Paul to do that. That's not like him.
To be fair, that was a hell of a save as well. That was some real driving skill.
That could have been nearly big.
Yeah. As I was saying, sorry. And then the Porsche Super Cup and the Ginetta Super Cup, they don't really grab me the same.
Is it because there's one driver that's dominating it and it's winning every race? Is it that?
There's a little bit of that, but more importantly for me, those 2 cars are endurance cars, and for that to be, and it's not about the power of them or how fast they are. It's just one of the series that I follow as a fan is the Fun Cup. I love the Fun Cup. I think it's one of the best championships in the UK, bar none. I also like the Mazda MX-5 Championship, but I like them for very different reasons. The Mazda MX-5 Championship is very, very short races, lots of races in a season, door-to-door action, really good to watch. On the same bill, some races, you'll actually see the 2 together, but you'll get the Fun Cup. The Fun Cup, the cars aren't as quick as the Mazdas, but they race for 4 to 6 and sometimes 25-hour race. They're an endurance.
On my track.
Yeah,
on my track. Spa.
Yeah,
that's my track.
It's good to go to a race and really get into it for 4 or 5 hours. But I think that the Porsches and the Ginettas, the Super Cup, I don't think they should extend the Ginetta Junior races, but the Super Cup and the Porsches, I don't think the races are long enough. You know what I mean? To have any, it needs a pit stop or a fuel stop or something to break it, because it's how long's the Porsche race now? About 40 odd laps.
Yeah, it was about 30 laps around Brands Hatch.
I mean, Brands Hatch Indy circuit's very short anyway. It's only, it's not the largest circuit in the world. it's much better the second round when they go back to Brands Hatch and they use the full GP circuit. You know, that's a lot better as a track for me to watch the Porsches and the Ginettas, the larger Ginettas. But I don't know. I just think they're missing a trick by not extending the races and then showing highlights of the races. I don't think those 2 races should be live, and I think they should be longer. I think they could make a bit more of a package about it, you know.
Is that another one if you get it off your plate too, was it?
No. I don't know. I'd be interested to see what people think. They most probably completely disagree with me. I just when I see a Porsche, I think about endurance racing. When I see a Ginetta Super Cup, I think about GT4 endurance racing. And it's just in my head that those 2 cars should run longer. And I don't mind them running with the British touring cars. I just think it'd be great if ITV4 had them on a separate package. If they ran them as races, longer races on the Saturday, and give them their own program like they did with the BDRC F4, for example, which is now shortly going to be the MSA formula. That's about to go through massive changes. I don't know if you've heard about that one as well.
No.
They're about to be called Formula 4, which is quite interesting. So
now, hold on a minute. Now, is this when Formula 3 cars are is this when the old Formula 4 cars are going to be Formula 3?
Yes. Now, what actually happened was Jonathan Palmer, owner of all the MSV circuit chains, came up with a design for a car to replace his Formula Palmer Audi, right? And he came up and he decided to call it F4, and he registered all the names. The FIA decided to do F4 and called their series F4 and registered it. But when they got to the UK, they couldn't register the F4 because Palmer already owned it. So they actually turned around and said, right, well, there's no British F3 anymore. So the cars that Jonathan Palmer's organisation have remade and rebuilt to replace them on the second generation of that car is actually faster than the MSA Formula 4 car. It's the next level up. Yeah. So they've basically done a swap deal where they've been given the rights to Formula 3 in the UK. So Jonathan Palmer's organisation will run British F3 around the tracks. And in return, MSA Formula Ford will now become MSA Formula 4. And I'm thinking that's going to happen pretty soon. They're on about the court date to actually change the name over legally is going to happen within the next couple of months. So we could actually see the rebrand before the end of the season.
I was going to say, them Formula 3 cars didn't look the original Formula 3 cars because they didn't have the thing on where the sides is. I can't remember what to call them.
The side pods, the radiator pods, you mean?
It's above the side pods. I can't mind what it was.
Oh right, okay, yeah. So the airbox at the top of it, yeah, they all are different. Yeah, I mean the cars are all different chassis this season anyway. And what was really interesting about MSA Formula is the influx of Australian drivers.
Yeah,
who raced last year in those cars because they were released in Australia first of all. I think.
I remember an Aussie driver racing in the BMW series when it was on the package.
Yeah, again as well. Formula BMW. Those cars find champions. I mean, Vettel's first season in a car was in one of those. So it's I remember the Formula BMW with fondness. It was a good series that was. I like that. I remember that one. Yeah, it was very, very good, very, very good championship. Very, very good championship. So going back to touring cars, which is the reason we're here, Donington Park then, evidently only a few weeks since you've been there as media day. Do you feel that the teams will have really, dialed the car in there at media day? Because they weren't, although in the afternoon they were running quite well, some people were definitely sandbagging. There was a lot of Shedden driving around. He wasn't really going for it in any way, shape or form. He seemed to be doing a lot of checks and a lot of information and he did a lot of long runs.
There was like a lot of data testing for the car, see how it performed and all that. And I was going to say this to you earlier. Do you think it was a mistake on BMR's part to not show the car in public and actually do testing to see how it performed, getting ready for Brands Hatch?
I know they went and did a test after the media day. We were walking along. I've got a friend of mine, who in the paddock will be known as Stickers, because that's what he does. And he was there at media day working for one of the teams, doing some vinyl wrapping of one of the cars, getting all the bits ready for the season. And he evidently knows a few people in the paddock, and I bumped into him. I haven't seen him for a while. He was walking past, and luckily, by a complete fluke, Turkington was walking the other way. Yeah. And he did an intro for us at Autosport, and I didn't want to disturb him again, primarily because he was so full of engineer stuff. He'd got like data on a clipboard in his hand. He was reading this data as he was walking. I mean, the boy was in full-blown race mode. And my mate Stickers asked him where the car was and what it was doing, and and all this kind of thing. And he actually said something, caught himself saying it, and then sort of closed his mouth really quickly, which was, all the parts aren't here yet. And I was like, I honestly, I'm not sure whether all those cars were running or whether they literally, the ones at media day, were actually just ones they'd had out of a dealership that they stickered up. Because I'm not sure. Again, with the media pack that was round it, and I wasn't there with a long lens camera by any stretch of the imagination, because we shouldn't have been there. Period. The wonderful world of Aidan Moffat opened the door to us that day.
We love you, Aidan.
Well, Aidan, you are an absolute superstar, mate. Thank you very, very, very much. Really do appreciate the press pass. You don't know that your team gave us as a black, which was beautiful. Yeah, it just seems to me that Subaru are coming in with, they've got to be there or thereabouts and give it a run for the money at the end of the season. I'm gonna put my neck on the line. I don't think Plato will be top dog in that team once they do get it sorted. I think it's going to be Turkington again.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Turkington, because just for the simple fact, it's a rear-wheel drive car, and as described at the beginning of the broadcast, and I was right all along, Plato has never driven a rear-wheel drive car.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to admit, and before anybody accuses me of Plato bashing, I'm not. I'm just saying that car seems to suit him. He's like, once this car's sorted, you can just tell, Jason's very relaxed. He was very relaxed about the day. He seemed to be there on the media day, very much for the media, as in like to be there as a brand ambassador for Subaru, and, to do all the interviews about Subaru coming back, and it's a major thing, and that's what he was there for, and whatever. I'd also like to just say to Jason as well, if it is that you don't want people hanging around your car in the paddock and getting upset when people take photographs of your car in the paddock, don't have the registration plate Plato. Just putting it out there. Perhaps you won't draw as much attention to yourself if you don't put your name on the car. I'm just putting it out there.
Was it not a Porsche that he drives?
Yes, which was on all the social media, because it's got the word Plato written on it. And even if that is your daily driver, you get a Subaru for the day, don't you, really? You'd perhaps turn up to that race meeting with, I don't know, the car you're driving in the championship. Just putting it out there.
That's a good shout, actually.
It just seemed to be a bit, it just seems to be that. And I know once Jason gets his helmet on, it's all strictly business. Don't get me wrong. The same with any driver who's lucky enough to be on that grid. They're not there to make the numbers up. Everyone's a potential champion, in the right car. But Jason's very much there with his day job as marketing genius to many big name companies. I don't think that car will stay in that colour scheme, certainly for Plato, going forward. I think once they've got the parts coming, I think the reason they've done all the same colour scheme on each car at the moment is purely down to, and I think it was said in the commentary, actually, that if there's an accident to either Plato or Turkington, Warren Scott's car is going to be butchered. If it's a door damage, until that, whatever. It tells me they haven't got a plethora of parts in the UK for that car at the moment. But, it's interesting that Plato's helmet was full of sponsorships from all his big blue chip sponsors again. It seems to be this deal's brought all those sponsors back, where he seemed to have taken a few off prior to getting out of MG, really. He seems to have played his card very, very well.
Do you think Plato would be the type of guy that would lose his patience if the Subaru isn't performing, say, the second half of the season?
No, not at all, because Subaru is very much how he was with Chevrolet. And it's down to the fact that, make no bones about it, it's Warren Scott's team, and Warren Scott's a brilliant businessman. But Plato's put that deal to the team. There's no two ways about it. Jason Plato and his engineer have been chasing a Subaru for the last 5 seasons. They've been constantly badgering Subaru and turning up at the Subaru UK, trying to broker this deal. So if they say 3 years, you can guarantee that in those pitches, Jason's not daft. He will over deliver and under promise to any sponsor. Do you get what I'm saying? He's basically got his pitch definitely would have had something along the lines of, and by year 3, I'll be champion in your car. Do you get what I'm saying? To take all the pressure off the sponsorship and everything else and do all that, and he'll do his best to win it in year 1. Point blank, he'll go for it in year 1. And don't be shocked if he does it. But Turkington just seems to be happier in the car. First race feedback is just Turkington just seems to be happier. I think Jason's head's not 100% of the championship at this point. I think he's. Do you
think he's going for the long run?
He's going for. He'll be there or thereabouts. How can I put it? Jason doesn't have to try to be in with a shout at the end of the season. And neither does Turkington, neither does Shedden. Matt Neal is there or thereabouts, but he's normally either he's way out in front or he's fighting for like the top 3. He's either in 3rd or 4th. Do you get what I mean? And Andy Jordan is either he's there or thereabouts, and it just goes to whether the race results. I just got a feeling this year is going to be a year of where we have a lot of driver standard issues. I think Alan Gow's going to have to get his, rule book out and start hitting some fines out beforehand. And I don't think it'll kick off to the second half of the season. It'll get really tasty about race 12. There
was already some fines handed out after Brands Hatch, the 3 races.
Yeah, who got what, do you know?
I've gone right here. There was, in race 1, Ollie Jackson was handed 2 penalty points and an official reprimand after an incident with Hunter Abbott. In race 2, Alex Martin got fined £500 and 3 penalty points for an incident with Mark Howard. And in race 3, Tom Ingram was fined £500 and also 3 penalty points for causing an accident with Jake Hill. Ash Sutton was issued with an official reprimand and 2 penalty points for an incident with Rob Austin. So already we've got points on the table for a few drivers at least anyways. Alex Martin and Tom Ingram already top of the penalty points. They have to beat 7 what Mike Bushell had last year.
I can just see it being a lot of carnage, I just don't know. I don't seriously think in the first half of the season you're gonna see a Honda or a certainly a Subaru diving up the inside of people and smashing door handles and getting out of the way and whatever. I think they're all just calmly gathering points at the moment and trying to keep the cars in one piece. And I don't think the BMWs, I don't think WSR have got the same issue.
No,
I think WSR can give Rob Collard a shallow race and not bat an eyelid about doing it. No. And that's not down. I'm not saying that he's a bad driver. I'm just on about like the might of that team and how established they are in there. I think they have, they've got some of the best mechanics in there, and they've got a lot of spares as well.
I think that's pretty much it. I think.
Brilliant, thank you. It's all right. I'm just getting handy. Do you see this? We've gone into the second part of the show, and you can tell, right? My wife has worked with me for years and years and years, doing different various broadcasting jobs, and she knows exactly when the studio tea is needed. So I'm raising them all. This one's got this mug of the. We're having a new thing as well, which I've decided to put into the show, which is mug of the week. And this one says overworked and underpaid on it.
Pretty much sums up, yeah.
Pretty much sums up everything that we do. Great. So on that note, then, mate, Rams. We'll just finish off with Donington. What do you feel is going to be the major stories coming out of Donington Park that we'll be talking about in a couple of weeks?
Well, I think expect the Hondas to be up there. Well, we talked about Ash Sutton, how he did well in media day. He could be up there for the threat to win a maiden touring car win. Yeah. I wonder how race 3 is going to pan out, considering what happened last year. Yeah, and I can't wait for that. I'm trying to think what else.
Here's one for you. Do you reckon that Jason Plato is going to still be on his wheels through the Crane of Curves, if you remember what he did to his Chevrolet a few seasons ago?
Oh, it's in barrel rolled it.
Yeah.
No.
Let's face it. He's not backwards at coming forwards down the Crane of Curves, is he, old Jason? He likes to hoof it down there.
Oh, everyone likes to hoof it down there.
Yeah, but there is a hint of balance. I don't think Plato's got that. Yeah, Plato wants to go from wherever he is to like 4 seconds in front down the crane. He really loves it. You can tell he loves that set of corners.
Stick a fat man in the car, and then it'll be more weight and there'll be more stability. There you go. Stick me in the car.
I was waiting for you. You try and blag a drive every single episode, and God bless you for it. I think that'd be hilarious to do that.
Yeah, you just see me out the mirror, like at the window, just saying, "Help! I want out."
No. I still think the funniest one with that, right, would be you trying to drive whilst I was on team radio. Trying to give you instructions.
I'll be like Kimi Räikkönen says, "Leave me alone. I know what I'm doing."
I'm not gonna. What I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna give you the ability to talk back. I'm just gonna put speakers all in the car, so you got for all 15 laps. Go on, Sean.
Subwoofers all around the car.
Just come over with like some voice sound effect going. You must beat Rob Austin. Yeah. So, what do you think is going to be the main talking points for the other rounds? Then, do you think that we're going to see anybody from the back of the grid sort of tearing up and going through the front?
I want to see Rob Austin up there. I want to see him do well. Hopefully, Dan Welsh can perform the same like what he did at Brands. I was seeing Jeff Smith doing well because he was improving in them 3 races.
Again, he went really well actually in this last round. He seemed to be much more settled in the car. He seemed to be much more at home in it this time around.
And Jack Goff as well. He was very impressive.
Yeah, definitely. I honestly think that some of the major points to look at, especially if you're travelling to the British Touring Car rounds at Donington Park, is if you haven't been since last season, the improvements to the middle part of the track that they've done. God bless Donington, they're getting there. They are actually getting there. And that's not an ironic round of applause. That's a genuinely well done. The team there have worked their tail off to actually bring the heart and soul back into that place. It really was missing it a few seasons ago, and it's slowly coming back. There's a couple of things it could improve. There's a couple of spectator bits of banking on the left-hand side of the Crane of Curves where there's a few dangerous bits where there's some big drops and stuff that they could perhaps, instead of shoveling all that dirt around in the middle, fill that back in and perhaps put another grandstand on the top of that bank by the bridge would be amazing. So you can see them all come through there. I think they're missing a couple of tricks where they could do that. And apart from that, it's looking spectacular. Even on media day, which was grey, raining, and force 9 gales, it still looked amazing. So it's great.
Interesting.
Yeah, just a bit of a rant there. Sorry, I haven't liked Donington to spectate at. I think it's a great track it was just so sad to see it damaged and so sad to see it almost close. And like, you know, it's down to the Donington Park hardcore fan base that's kept that place going, and it's just, you know, and the team there is phenomenal.
Do you know what I want to see come back at Donington? I want to see that big tired Dunlop thing at the bridge. I want to see that back. Since Formula One's not racing at Donington now, I want to see that Dunlop bridge come back.
Now you see.
I want to see that.
Now you see, that bridge was actually purchased by Chris Evans. Chris Evans has got that bridge.
Get it back, Chris. I'm still not watching Top Gear.
We're not bringing. You know, Dunlop sponsoring the BTCC, and they've signed up to there. You know, I think Donington. You know, we have to sit through loads of your adverts, Dunlop. So you know, give us a Donington bridge back. We miss it.
We do. We do.
If not, do what they do on the Formula One and just put it in as a computer graphic.
Or why not just sneak around Chris Evans' house and just steal it?
To be honest with you, Sean, right? I'm not quite sure how we're going to get something that big in a Skoda. But we'll have a go.
It'd be interesting to see Chris Evans just waking up, opening the curtain and says, "Oh, what's the bridge gone?"
No, it would be interesting if we woke Chris Evans up on that straight.
in his very expensive Ferrari, the one that's cost about £9 million or something.
No, transport him and his bed to the centre of the track where the bridge wouldn't stood and wait for him wake up, and then just me and you be sitting there with two deck chairs going, "Now listen, Chris, it's like this, mate. We need the bridge back, yeah? What's missing here? Look at this picture. What's missing here?"
Flip that, I'd stick up my visa at him.
and then just for irony, to really confuse him even more, we just have Jason Plato walk in front and go, "Get it off your Plato," just as he walks past.
Taps him on the shoulder and just goes by.
Listen, Chris, we want the bridge back, mate. Come on.
Get it back.
I think we should crowdfund to get that bridge back.
I think we should hashtag it on the Facebook page. Hashtag bring the big bridge back.
Bring our bridge back. That's what we want. We miss it. I miss the spark plug as well. I know it was falling down, but I miss the spark plug commentary box there as well. You never see anything quirky like that at racetracks anymore. Bring it back. And it's such a shame, you know, such a shame. Anyway, right, well, we've gone on there for quite a while now. I'm sure we'll edit this down and keep the highlights going, because this is just a master recording at the moment, I'm sure. I think this is the first Around the Bend we've done expletive free. I think that's a win. I think we should high five each other from one end of the country to the other. And there we go.
I think that's fucking brilliant.
Oh.
I didn't say it.
Oh man. And that's, ladies and gentlemen, that's why he's a Hartlepool fan. So close. He always gets there. It's so close, but it's never quite a full.
Oh, fudge.
Yeah. The only way that sentence could have been beaten is at any point when the car kept breaking down for Dan Welsh last season. I was like, oh, not again. Yeah.
There'll be lots of beeps in that.
And honestly, I'm so glad to see that guy going well, really am. Right, okay, so good luck to Dan Welsh and all the other drivers for the round at Donington Park. ITV4. I don't know about this, but we genuinely are fans. We're doing this for fans, by fans. We're not trying to do it to like get advertisements on the channel or anything like that. We're just doing it for fun. You know, opinions are just ours. You know, you're entitled to your own. We're not trying to offend anybody. We're just trying to record it and have a giggle. If you enjoy it, listen. If you don't click play. It's quite simple. We're just going to do this and record it for ourselves anyway. We enjoy it, and everybody else joins in as well. Donington Park, then the next round, before we have that little bit of a break into May when we go to Thruxton for the round afterwards. But Donington Park is always a great one to watch, and it should bring us lots and lots of fun and entertainment. I'm sure race 3 is going to be spectacular. If you have to move on that Sunday, move, but don't move for race 3. That's our prediction anyway. And
there's also Formula 1 on the same day on his touring cars, but I think I know what I'm going to be watching.
Well, there's only really one race that matters, isn't there, really? And that's somewhere on the border of Derby and Leicester. I don't think the Formula 1 thing, again, Formula 1's on the... Personally, they're around the bend. We do talk all the motorsport when we find nice bits as well. I'm putting out there the demise of Formula 1. Bless it. As in 2 years' time. Second it goes free to air, that is it. There is a big rumour, John, and again, we listen to other podcasts and other shows. There's amazing shows. Wells 10 Top Tuesday, which we listen to regularly, is a fantastic show. And also the John Eindoff and the amazing gang at Radio Le Mans as well. So big shout out to those guys. For Midweek Motorsport, they were actually saying, Midweek Motorsport was saying, and please listen to the podcast because I'm paraphrasing here, but the Silverstone are considering selling Silverstone to a conglomerate of Indian business people with regards to actually getting rid of that, because they actually don't think that people will be going to the British Grand Prix in 2 years the second it goes off free to air. So, they've got all the safety cockpits and everything else coming in. There's Halo device coming into Formula 1 for the head restraints and all the head guards and things like that. I think when that starts happening in Formula 1, people are going to switch from Formula 1 to World Endurance. I think the World Endurance Championship will become the pinnacle of motorsport. There, I've said it. And I can see all the big drivers going across to there.
There's only one problem, though.
What's that?
The Endurance Series will be on Motors TV, which they've unplugged it from Freeview.
Don't even get me started on Motors TV.
No, I've had my say about it, I'm just basically fighting a losing battle with them.
I'd like Motors TV, right? An amazing, amazing channel. Just wish I could watch it. It's quite simple. They put it on Freeview. It worked. I was happy. Everybody we knew was happy. It was absolutely brilliant.
I watched it every day.
Every single person that I knew who was into motorsport, whenever you went round to their house, their hard drive recorder of choice, right, no matter what they watched it on or whatever, was full of Motors TV stuff that they'd recorded that they couldn't have possibly, if they'd have sat there for a year, caught up on, right? I'm talking like Latvian snowmobile racing at 4 a.m. in the morning, that sort of stuff. And it's like, you could always turn it on and find something funny. And I've got to admit, it's responsible for actually getting me back through my season break. Because I don't know about you, season break, let's put it out there. Me and Sean goes into hibernation. I sort of say goodbye to Sean at the end of the last round of the season, British Touring Cars. He watches Steve Ryder do the closing thing. He has a little bit of a cry. He goes to bed and then he wakes up again in January. That's Sean.
I'm
right?
like Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah. He basically, that's what he does, right? With Motors TV, and this is in all seriousness, I forgot how good British club rallying was until I was able to see it on Motors TV. Because when I was a little kid, you'd watch it on Grandstand or World of Sport or something like that. Trans World Sport on Channel 4. WRC, World Rally Championship, it bores me. Next year, when they go back to the Group B spec, they're upping it about 100 brakes. So they're going to be like 400 brake horsepower cars, right? It's still boring. I'm sorry, WRC. It's still boring, and it's boring for one thing. Global Rallycross cars have got 600 brake. You're 200 brake behind. I'm sorry. It's just you're not the quickest rally-style car out there. Global Rallycross is exciting. It's short races. It's quick. It's exciting. Worth watching in the close season, because it's evidently going around the globe. It's always on. But to be perfectly honest with you, British Club Rallying, a big shout out as well. YouTube channel you need to check out. Special Stage Extra. Go and see the Special Stage Extra and just have a look at the Motorsport News Circuit Rally Championship. Most of the rounds to get in to watch for the day was £10. I'd just say that again. It was £10. And in the middle of the BTCC wilderness, and I have to say this and bow my head because it was a dark time, no British touring cars. I should have music like, emotional music playing behind me right now, but it was a dark time. Days seem longer somehow. You'd sort of sit and look out the window and dream and run montages in your head of of Rob Austin's car going around corners, perhaps with a few dents in it, that kind of thing. You'd sort of feel all misty-eyed about it. That Rally Circuit Championship was brilliant because they used the circuits in a really weird way. Like, I am going to tell you now, if you really want to mess with your head, go to the Neil Howard Rally at Alton Park in November and watch them do the BTCC circuit backwards. They go round the track the wrong way, and it throws you. There's whole new places to go and stand and spectate. There's they're just absolutely ridiculous. Getting people coming down Clay Hill and going into that short chicane. You've never seen a car go around the track that way before.
Keep going.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And, again, having seen that, Sean's got it right now. He's in key. Mr. Alan Gow. I'm going. Mr. Alan Gow, you do realise now, somewhere just north of Hartlepool, right? Sean's got 600 Alsatians turning up at his door right now. All the dogs in the area are coming to him. I'm
nearly at the end of the song.
Yeah, I know. I was just trying to get a whistle in everywhere. Yeah, so basically, Alan Gow, right? You need to start running one of these races at one of these circuits, Alton Park. Just hinting. In reverse. I know you'd have to put up other barriers and stuff like that, but oh my God, it would be so exciting. It would be amazing to see a touring car race where they go. Can you just imagine the next round at Donington if they were going up the Craner curves? Coming from McLean's down that massive bank, hardly any bending, just a slight little right-hand kink, and then a massive braking area. That's not going to cause carnage at all, is it, on the field? There's no real adjustments.
Well, it will be at Knockhill first.
Yeah. Yeah, but again, I'm not saying every round. I'm just saying, there's got to be some way where they can just, flip a coin at the beginning of the season and go, right, round 12 will be running reverse. Right, next, get Steve Ryder to, put his hand in and go, right, race 18 is going to be in reverse, wherever that is, and do it in the build-up to the start of the season, We had a bit of excitement into it. The other thing I'd love to see back is a night race. I really do. I mean, ITV4 have committed to the championship long-term. They control the schedules. They control when they race. Why don't we have an evening race at the end of the season? I'm not talking about the last bit of brands where the last race is kind of going dark. I'm on about, why don't they do the qualifying, at a different time or something like that, when make the qualifying, I don't know, somehow more watchable, because it's just, there's a lot.
Didn't they do the last night race in 2001? And wasn't it Snetterton or Silverstone? Whilst it was in the summer. So you're talking about maybe 1 o'clock to go pitch black. Yeah.
But I'm not talking about pitch black. I'm talking that bit where you've got the dusk in your eye line and, and you start, the sunlight's affecting the driving a bit. And I'm not on about risking driver safety at any way, shape or form. I'm just thinking about, not like a complete change to touring cars, because why wreck something that's perfect? But, it's I don't know. I'd just like to do that. I miss the pit stops and some of the craziness that they used to bring out with some of the races.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Right then. There we go.
We'll edit that out. Sorry, I was just, I'm just.
Oh no, we'll keep that in. We'll keep that in. We can show our emotions.
No, it's okay, Sean. I thought this was a sharing place.
Not after the way you've been treating me in Hartlepool. It's no anymore now.
I don't think. I just. What I love, I've got to admit, one of my favourite things on Facebook is your face when they win. You just look so happy. You just look so happy. And then I saw you in the closed season. You met one of your heroes, didn't you, up there as well? And there's a picture of you and a footballer up there, and you were just like, you know, you were just absolutely, it looked like you should have a pink love heart around you. There's definitely there's definitely a bromance going on.
Yeah, but I hated it because of my second chin.
Oh well, it's one of them, mate.
Exactly. I need to stop eating.
Yeah, no, it's very underrated, that, mate. You've got to keep it on, haven't you? You know what I mean? You wouldn't be a football fan without a pie, would you?
I don't like pie.
Mate, you can't be that northern and not like pie. I'm in the Midlands and I like
shepherd's pie I like.
Oh, well, that's a pie. Be all right. Crack one of them open.
I haven't had shepherd's pie for years.
Well, let's put it this way, right? Here's what we're going to do, right?
I thought you were supposed to be leaving this and I was talking about food.
No. I'm putting this out there. We'll put this as a separate clip, right? We'll edit this down. We'll do Around the Bend. We'll do the edit. You're editing it anyway, so you'll be fine. We'll put this as a separate bit. We also ask this as a question, actually, in all seriousness. Food recommendations for each round of the British Touring Car Championship. Does the pork bap at Snetterton make you sing? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, let's make it the ultimate Around the Bend guide to the food, where to stand. Let's go for it. Why not? Come on, let's open it up. Let's do that. Which track's got the best mug of tea?
Oh dear.
That's a personal mission that I'm going to go on for the rest of the season, I think.
Someone else was talking about what's the best burger van in the BTCC, and I left a comment saying any burger bar that doesn't give me diarrhea.
Good skills. Something that doesn't follow through. That's
exactly.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Right. Well, like I say, that has been Around the Bend. I've been Bart, he's been Sean, and we will be with you after the next round at Donington Park.
Are we not going to do a preview?
We can do a preview if you want, mate, beforehand. It all depends. It all depends. We will. Let me put it this way for the listener. We've got one. The listener and whatever. This next few weeks for me, when the job that I do is kind of busy, so I will endeavour to do a Donington Park preview. But I know for a fact on Sunday the 17th of April, I've got to watch the races on record because I'm actually doing my job on the Sunday. I'm working on that Sunday, so I won't be able to do that till after. But the actual before, again. It's whether I can get to there to do a preview. Really, I think we should try, but like we said before, Sean, we'll perhaps go for the Thursday that week, mate, if we can.
And then for the first time, I can get my balls out and we can do some driver predictions. I've got them right here. Got all ping pong balls of every BTCC driver from this year.
I thought you were going to say. I really thought you were going to say pink balls then, and that would really shock me.
At least they're not blue, anyways.
Oh dear. Is that because they're Scottish?
It'll be like blue, green, purple. It'll be all tartaned.
Yeah. Please tell me you've written all the driver numbers and names on there, and please tell me.
No, it's just all to it. It's just got the names. That's
all.
Oh,
right. So Rob Austin isn't number 6 then. We're not starting you on that again.
No. I will be looking at the. Unlike Rob, I'll just not look at the ones and just pick them.
Okay. So what is the paper? I'm going to regret saying this, but we've already opened the rabbit hatch to this one. What are the balls for, Sean?
It's just to predict who's going to beat who.
So basically, what we're doing is Mystic Sean and his magic balls. That is now a feature. You do realise that, don't you?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So
I will get my balls out. I'll happily get my balls out.
Right. Right. Now you've got them out. Are you going to make your prediction using your magic balls?
We will wait until Thursday when I'll get my balls out.
You know something? That's proper crap me up, that has, mate. Right, okay, so we'll get together on Thursday then, man. Let's do that. I'll leave you to do the editing as well, Sean, and then we'll put this up, mate. So if we do a little
we're still
outro,
live.
Yeah, I know we're still live. I'm just saying what we'll do is evidently we'll do an outro now, which then you'll edit and then whatever, because this is not public facing. This is just the raw recording we're doing now, isn't it? So let's go for that. Yeah.
Right. Well, we've got to head out because the Motorsport Mavericks is on in 2 minutes.
All right, mate. Leave you to it then. Okay, so that has been Around the Bend. I've been Bart, he's been Sean, and we will join you real soon for either the Donington Park reflection or, if we get chance, work and family commitments permitting, a Donington Park preview, while Sean will share his magic balls.
I will. Yeah, you get to see my balls.
All right. See you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.